Okay, now it comes time to disconnecting the water hose and the electrical connections. One of the things that we like to do is, like the night before we leave for the next day, I like to make sure these valves are closed in the closed position. That allows the tanks to start filling up, and which will allow you to, when you open these valves, there's more water in there that will flush everything out. So we want to start by opening the valve on the far left. That is the black water tank, and it's indicated by a black handle. So you just simply pull this all the way out and allow that water to flow until it stops. Once this water stops flowing, you can simply close the black handle again. After the black water has flown, has drained, then on the right side there's a gray handle. This is a gray water tank. You'll want to pull that valve, and that's going to help flush everything out as well. Okay, while the water, the tanks are draining, I want to go ahead and turn the water supply off. The reason I'm doing that is because we're going to use the garden hose to help flush out this system. So you'll want to, there's a pressure regulator right here. You want to make sure, and right now this hose has pressure on it, so you just simply try to loosen it a little bit and just kind of stand back and let the pressure release for a second, so it doesn't give you a bath when you take it all the way off. Okay, once the water quits spraying out, you should be able just to loosen the rest of that and remove it. We always like to put our cap back on. Now by this time the water should have stopped flowing. So we're going to go ahead and shut the valves. I'm going to run back over here real quick and turn the garden hose on. Okay, once the valves are shut, you can turn the water back on your garden hose and just kind of wash everything down. This is the reason for the rubber gloves. You'll want to turn that to the left and disconnect it. Because we're a little ways from the actual drain, we're going to have to pull the hoses up to allow that water to run out. The little red hose is just an extension of these two hoses. If you're far enough away that you need to use it, we always provide an extra couple of feet there. So I've separated the red hose from the brown hoses, and now we're going to run some water in there to flush everything out. Okay, once everything's drained and you've used your water hose to wash everything out, we're going to start putting this stuff away. The red hose, we like to keep it in the back bumper. There's a plug right here. You just insert your finger and pull that out. It's a little tricky to kind of get in there, but you just feed it in. You just have to go in far enough to get your cap back on. There we go. Just kind of had to line it up there. Put your cap back in. Okay. The brown wastewater hose we like to separate and then reattach to each other. This kind of keeps anything that's in the hose. It allows it to stay in the hose when you're storing it. This 90-degree discharge here, you just turn it to the left, and this is kind of sometimes hard to do, but there we go. Make sure you put your cap back on. Also, we like to separate these, like I said earlier. Okay, we like to roll the hose up. It makes storing a lot easier. Once you get your garden hose rolled up, just like with the wastewater hoses, we like to screw this together. That allows any water that's in the hose to stay in the hose and not run out on the inside the camper. Okay, there's a Velcro strap that we keep inside here as well. We like to just wrap it around the hose. And like I said, it just makes everything on the next setup really easy to get to. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the electrical part of it. I'm going to run down here and unplug this. All right. We're going to put our electrical away now. We have a box that's for electrical connections. Sometimes, depending on what campgrounds you go to, we've had issues where if we've got the air conditioner on and we try to run the microwave and say there might be a crock pot plugged in or something, I've repeatedly tripped the 30 amp breaker. Okay, so what I did on this particular situation in order to alleviate that problem is that I plugged this into a 50 amp breaker, which converts it down to 30 amps. So you're less likely to trip a 50 amp breaker, and you don't have to worry about the camper. There's no fire danger or anything like that, because inside the camper you have individual breakers that will trip as well. We were having a nuisance trip basically, and so in order to get rid of that, I plugged it into a 50 amp, and that's what this adapter is for, 50 to 30. We like to keep all our electrical connections in this electrical box. That includes the extension cord. If you can, it's best to get close enough to the connection so that you don't have to run the extension cord. But if you do, we do provide one. All right, ready? Once your electrical is disconnected, make sure that you put everything in the box. We like to put this in the back, far back right corner. This is the compartment that holds the power cord. So you just slowly feed it back inside, and then shut your lid. Just use a little bit of caution when you're pushing this into the storage compartment. You don't want to push so far in that your cord goes past this little area right here. So I'll show you where to stop it. About right there is fine. All you need to do is go in far enough to be able to shut the door. Okay. We have a compartment as well for the storage bin as well for the water. We like to keep things separate. It makes it easier for setup. This goes in on top, same way with the other one. We provide a plastic bag, trash bag, for you to put your wastewater hoses in. You simply go right here on this left side. Okay. Don't forget your hose. Slide it in there. Once you've removed the wheel chocks, we simply just store them here in this front compartment. And once again, we like to make sure everything's locked. And you should be ready to get on the road.